Welcome to my tutorial about how to draw skulls. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is to draw the skull from the front. I have to say this tutorial is only useful if you actually want to draw the skull from the front. If you draw it from the side, then it's a little bit different, and in any other three-dimensional direction it's even more complicated. I will do in the future other tutorial videos about it. But for now we are going to talk just about the front. So for this purpose I have here this grid, which is going to be helpful. The grid is already about the size of the skull we are going to draw. And what I want to do first of all is to decide the eye position. And the center of the line of the eyes is above the center of the skull itself most of the time. And we're going to decide where to draw our center line for the eyes, and I'm going to decide right here. And now for the eye size, I would say, well, one thing is, the bigger you draw the eyes, the shorter is the skull going to appear. So I will choose 1.5 units. And 1 unit for me, this is my own measurement for this grid. 1 unit is one of these small squares. Okay. Alright. 1.5 units up and down is going to be the eye size. And the distance between the eyes is going to be about like this. There you can be very free about choosing it. Okay, and for the eye shape, well, there are all sorts of different eye shapes, but this is a very basic one that appears very often. So we are going to connect these, it's very rounded, and we have this top here, which is very often going down a little bit. So the same right here, and down here it's a little bit steeper, like this, and going straight down. There we have this bottom, which is going to connect right here. Okay. Alright. And for the nose, which is going to be the next one, the nose starts where the angle is about to change here, for the eye sockets, like about the inner eye corner, and the nose socket ends. But there is a special rule about it, and this is actually very useful if you want to draw any sort of face. And that is the distance between the eyebrows and the bottom of the nose, this here, yes, is about the same of the distance between the bottom of the nose and the chin. Right here. You can check it too. Sometimes it's a little bit more down, like in the middle of the upper lip, but within the error range it's mostly true, this rule, and we're going to use it too. So up here we have the eyebrow height, about here, and down here is obviously the chin. So we have in total 13 units. So we're going to halve it to 6.5, and this is where the nose will have its bottom. And there are also many different shapes of the nose socket. I'm going to draw it like this, but there is a very triangular shape too, or maybe you can draw it also very round. It's totally up to you. I'm going to use this one. Alright, and next of all will be the cheekbones. It's up to you how strongly you want to define the cheekbones. Yeah, so cheekbones are starting where we already decided where the nose bottom is going to be, and the top is where the eyes have its bottom. Alright, so like this. Okay, and then we go up very close to the eye sockets and bend inside a little bit, and then more. We have this dent here. Okay, and now for the top of the skull. The shape can also be very different. You can make it very flat or very round. It's totally up to you. So this skull obviously has a very high forehead because I made the eyes from the beginning a little bit smaller. And the eye position was also very close to the center line of the skull. Alright, and next of all will be the teeth. Oh my, she's going at it. Oh. Teeth. For this we need the center of the eyes, and we draw these lines all the way down. Like this. And now we continue the cheek bones until we get to this line here, and we actually end a little bit earlier. Not all the way to the line, just a little bit earlier, and going a little bit down. And about this line, this quarter here, is going to start the teeth, and it's a little bit curved, and you have to remember that the distance between here is bigger than at these ends. Alright, and the bottom line. The bottom line is mostly a little bit shorter because most of the time the bottom row line is hidden behind the front, the top line, mostly like this. If you close your teeth, then it wouldn't close like this normally, but like this. And so we have to consider this. So just a little bit shorter, and that's fine. Okay, and now for the teeth. Yeah, as you get more to the end, distance between the teeth is going to narrow. Like this. Okay. Alright. And now for the chin. So, well, the jaw, sorry. So the jaw is starting right about where the eyes were ending. And now you can be very free with your creativity again. And you can make a very pointed chin or a very broad chin. It's totally up to you. I'm going to make it about like this. Alright. And okay. And we have these hollow areas here. And obviously these are also hollow. Well, they actually are not hollow. the eye sockets and the nose socket, but there is bone material inside, surrounding our eyes and the nose. But it's a little bit more complicated to draw these correctly, and it looks cooler if you just draw them hollow. So yeah. But if you want to be very accurate, then I suggest to you to look up some photos in Google. Okay, and I like to do these corners too. Sometimes the skulls have them. Okay, and also we have these corners here for the cheekbones again. Okay, and this is the basic shape of the skull. Now we are going to reduce opacity and go over to the outlining. I'm going to start with the teeth because I want to say something about the teeth. So first of all, you want to do this zigzag line here, because the teeth are not in this box shape, but they are going up a little bit like this. I'm going to just do it until this level, and when you draw the teeth, you round them up a little bit. Don't follow that closely to the sketch lines. A little bit more curvature. And one thing is, be messy, be rough. It's totally fine, because the skull isn't perfect, and you don't have to worry about making totally clean lines. Actually, it would be even better if you do some flaws on purpose. It makes the skull look older, have more character to it. Yes. Alright, so I'm going to fast forward now until I'm done with the outlining, and I will talk a little bit about it and go over to the shading. Alright, so I'm done with the outlining, and let's go over to the shading. And again, I'm going to start with teeth, but one important thing is that the teeth are actually not stopping where you see them, but they are continuing into the bone, into the skull itself, where they have their roots. And we have to indicate this shape too, and so you have these kind of shadows here too. And yeah, do you know what also is related to the skull and bones? Vitamin D. Yes, vitamin D. It is very beneficial for the bones themselves, but also for the organs and the heart and the muscles, and it can prevent some sorts of cancer too. So yeah, it's very important. Why am I starting to talk about vitamin D? Well, I did some research because recently I've been hanging out home most of the time because I was working. I could go out and draw outside, but the thing is, I have my internet here, I have my research material, and also my PC for editing and all this stuff, so I can't really leave home that much anymore, and I was worried about my vitamin D levels. it is very important that you have to be careful. Vitamin D is produced by exposing your skin to the sun. As simple as that. And it can be a little bit problematic in winter, where there is actually less sun, and also if you go outside on a sunny day, then most likely you are covered in clothing and only the skin of your face may be exposed to the sunlight. And this is not very much, and so you automatically produce much less vitamin D during winter. But one thing is that you can intake vitamin D with supplements, but also with food. And good sources for vitamin D would be fish, for example, cod, mackerels, tuna, salmon, all sorts of fish, and mushrooms and eggs. And there are also foods which are extra fortified with vitamin D, like some dairy products or whole grain products. But in this case you have to be very careful, because there are two types of vitamin D. There is vitamin D3 and D2. D3 is the kind that our body actually produces when being exposed to sunlight. And D2 is harvested from some plants. Don't ask me, I forgot which one these were, but there are differences. And D2 cannot actually really replace D3, and you have to, if you take D2 supplements, then the dosage level have to be very individualized. Every person would have a very different dosage level, which is appropriate for this person. And if you overtake vitamin D2, then you could actually have quite the contrary of beneficial effects, but it could be actually toxic. And there also has been a study about people who take D2 and D3 supplements, and and they correlate it to the mortality rate. And people who took D3 supplements had about 5 to 7% reduced mortality rate, so it's very good for them. However, the people who took D2 supplements had an increased mortality rate, about 2% or something, but the difference is pretty clear. And so it's not recommended to take vitamin D2, maybe in supplements or reinforced food with vitamin D2. So be very careful if you buy some milk or something like that which has vitamin D added to it. Check which kind of vitamin D it is. Yeah. But also one thing is that vitamin D is stored by your body during summer and spring, and also this storage is used in winter. I don't know for how long vitamin D can be stored. I did not find that out. I didn't find anything about it. So if you know more about it, then please let me know in the comments. It would be very interesting. The thing is that fat cells are storing vitamin D, and some people may think automatically then if you have more fat cells, then you have more storage for vitamin D, which is good for you. But actually quite the contrary. Because if you have more fat, or even to the level that you are obese, then you have less key enzymes in your fat cells, which are quintessential for processing vitamin D. So if you have more fat cells, then you actually have less vitamin D. So yeah, be careful to have a healthy amount of fat in your body. I don't care about any beauty standards. I couldn't give less of a fuck, but being healthy is important for everybody, and you have to be careful about it. And even if it takes a kick in your ass, be healthy, okay? Alright then, so I'm going to fast forward again until I'm done with the shading and talk about it again a little bit and get to the end, alright? Alright, so I think I'm done with the shading. Some things about it. I added some textures to the teeth to make them look even older, and also notice these shadows of the front row. This kind of style of shading is obviously just my preferred style. I like it to have a very strong contrast, but of course it's up to you in what kind of style you want to do it. And also, I'm not very a professional in shading and how to do it. So it could be that I made some mistakes and there are some shades which are not supposed to be there, or I missed some. Yeah, it could be, but mostly it should be alright. I hope so at least. What I really like is also to add some color to the shadows. Like here, for example, I have a clipped layer to the light shadow and I add a gradient of simple red to it. And it looks pretty awesome already. And what you can do is also to switch to multiply. This makes it look a little bit darker. So I personally prefer soft light. And this looks pretty awesome to me. Okay, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, constructive feedback or other tutorial requests, then please let me know in the comments. Alright then, have fun drawing.